Godzilla versus Kong. Who is going to win in this year's up-and-coming Warner Bros. Movie Godzilla vs. Kong 2020? It is a prerequisite that a king cannot touch a god. So the most common perception when asked who's going to win is basically Godzilla is going to win because he's got loads of powers and King Kong's got no powers. Well, before we can answer who is going to win, we need to go over what actually happened in the original 1972 movie. King Kong defeated Godzilla in their first crossover movie back in 1962. And here is why the outcome in this up-and-coming movie is going to be very different. So in the original King Kong versus Godzilla, Toho pit the giant ape against their own Godzilla in 1962, King Kong versus Godzilla, which became the first color feature film of either of their monster. The film was only Godzilla's third appearance, as he hasn't been on the big screen since 1955 in Godzilla Raids Again. Godzilla wasn't quite the Japanese icon that he is today. Also, Godzilla had to earn a reputation as a heroic figure, which is something that didn't happen for another 2 years. So naturally, King Kong was the hero and Godzilla was the villain terrorizing Japan. King Kong was greatly enlarged in this movie, sought to drive off Godzilla, but encountered a great deal of difficulty. When the two began fighting, it came quite apparent quickly that Godzilla was physically superior to King Kong, which made him the movie's underdog character in their first two meetings in this movie. Godzilla was able to get the best of King Kong in both fights. Godzilla held every advantage. His strength, his durability was greater than Kong. And to make matters worse, Kong had no defense for Godzilla's atomic breath. When turned the tide was a massive bolt of lightning that hit King Kong. That lightning gave King Kong a massive recharge that revitalized him and filled him with power. King Kong rushed back into the fight and gave Godzilla everything he could handle. His hands radiated with an electrical charge, and Godzilla appeared to be weak to electric throughout this film. The two toppled over into the ocean and engaged into an off-screen battle. Only King Kong emerged. The presumption, people presumed, essentially, whilst underwater, King Kong defeated Godzilla, whilst Godzilla fans have argued against the notion that Godzilla could have been beaten. In an official plot synopsis from Toho's later confirms Kong's victory. So Kong has beat Godzilla before, but this is not how it's going to go down in the MonsterVerse because there's so many titans. It's going to go down very differently. So there are a bunch of strengths and weaknesses for both of these characters. Now, the biggest weakness for Kong, so to speak, is this huge height difference. So it is said that Godzilla is somewhere between 300 feet and 400 feet, whereas Kong is just over 100 feet when we last seen him in Kong Skull Island. Although a lot of people seem to think in the MonsterVerse world that King Kong is going to be closer to 300 feet because of the powers on Skull Island. So he will be a lot bigger. Although King Kong does not really have a defense to any of the multiple powers that Godzilla, because he's a freaking god, possesses. So Godzilla essentially has atomic breath, atomic pulse, nuclear resistance, electric bite, fireballs, and probably many more abilities that we haven't seen. But where King Kong comes in now is he has an advantage of intelligence. He uses tools from his surroundings to help him. He can dodge attacks. He can jump from tree to tree. That is one of the biggest things we've not seen Godzilla. Godzilla's arms are tiny. He's not agile at all. And King Kong seems to see people through fog in the dead of the night, etc. Whereas Godzilla tracks enemies by hearing them hundreds of miles away. But to be fair to Godzilla, he can adapt and he can learn the strength and weaknesses of his opponents. Now, weaknesses for both of them, it's not really 100% clear what they are, but you could say that King Kong gets injured more easily due to the lack of body armor and also the lackluster size doesn't allow for large monster strength, although he is going to be far greater, far bigger in this year's upcoming movie. The grills on Godzilla's neck appear to be a weak spot. Short arms, as we said previously, a disadvantage with attacks from behind. So every time in every Godzilla vs. Kong video I do, everyone says that Godzilla is going to trance him. Now, this is going to be like a Batman vs. Superman movie, so to speak. I can honestly see the movie going like this. There will be many battles throughout, and either or both of them, one will win one fight, one will win the next. But ultimately, neither's going to win, because they will get into a massive fight, and someone else, another Titan, will come through the reins and interfere. As we know, this will not be the last movie in this franchise, although the previous movie didn't do very well for Warner Bros. Despite Godzilla, the King of Monsters. Lack of success at the box office, Warner Bros. Has expressed a massive confidence in this movie. Expectations for this movie are high considering the popularity of these two characters. Just based on my YouTube videos alone, there is a lot of hype around these two. Whilst both monsters have histories going back 60 years, Godzilla and King Kong have only clashed on the big screen once. So both fans of the MonsterVerse want this movie. There's so much freaking hype around it, and I can't wait till Warner Bros. Studios releases the first official teaser. We got the clip at CCXP in 2019 back in Brazil of Godzilla looking much greater, looking much bigger, smashing Godzilla around the head in a Superman punch style, although we can't confirm because we don't really see that. So it's going to be interesting to see which legendary Titans are going to get involved in this movie. I can't just see it being a 2-hour movie of Godzilla and King Kong fighting on Skull Island. That would not sell for a very good story. So although there is no outright winner here, most people will say it's Godzilla. He's going to win because he's stronger, faster, but he's got short arms. Although King Kong is smarter. He can use tools from his surrounding, the atomic breath, the fire breathing. King Kong's just going to pick something up that would block it. He really will. But Godzilla is a god. So what is a king to a god? Answer that question. He's also more agile, possibly stronger if he gets bigger. We don't know what King Kong's going to look like when he first appears in this movie, do we? All we know is this is going to be a freaking epic fight that people are going to be talking about for years. You know, on the same scale that people still talk about BVS, Batman vs. Superman, that if you look at it from how much money it made, it did great. I really don't understand why people hate that movie, because people to this very day say that Superman is so much stronger, and the only reason that Batfleck won was because he cheated and used kryptonite. So it's going to be on this kind of scale. Even if you do not care about this kind of movie, you want to know who is going to be stronger, King Kong or Godzilla. I can really see this movie being one of Warner Bros. Biggest movies this year. Although they have got a lot of big movies coming out this year. They've got Tenet, they've got Dune 2020, they've got Wonder Woman, they've just had Birds of Prey. It's going to be a big year for Warner Bros. Studios. So guys, let me know down below, who is going to be the alpha? Is it really going to be so straightforward as the Godzilla is going to win like absolutely every person in this comment section is going to say, Warstu, you're an idiot, you are wrong. Godzilla is a god, he is going to trance all over King Kong. But that's not the case. If you have seen the footage from CCXP, King Kong looks just as big, if not bigger than Godzilla. Well, maybe not bigger. He looks just as big, and he's super punching him in the face. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this movie goes down. I will be doing an array of different videos around this movie. So if you've got any topics that you want me to talk about, of how it's going to go down, what's going to happen in this movie, who else could they introduce? Is it going to be Mecha Godzilla? I've been saying Mega, but apparently it's pronounced Mecha Godzilla. Apparently Mecha Godzilla is going to appear in this movie. What's going to happen on Skull Island? Why are they all going that way based on the King of the Monsters post-credit scene? They are all heading to that location for some reason. What's drawing them there? It can't be King Kong because they already know King Kong's there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this movie. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Any video requests for this kind of content around the MonsterVerse, let me know down below. Absolutely love making content around Godzilla and King Kong. Who is going to be the mega alpha male? I don't know. Personally, I think King Kong's going to win because you don't actually think he's going to win because he's not a god, and that's why I think he should win. The same reason Batman beat Superman, where Superman is a god and Batman isn't a god. You see? They could literally do the same storyline where King Kong wins, but doesn't really win. They're not going to kill either monster off in this movie. No, why? Because they make too much money, and they're just too popular characters to kill off. The monsters, they're not going to kill any of the main monsters off, in my opinion. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment at the 100,000 subscriber marker. We'll be giving away a PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, or a Switch. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel so we get there faster, and leave a comment down below to have a chance of winning if we ever get to that 100,000 subscriber mark. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.